video, I'm going to be showing you a 3D encapsulated koi pond. So the koi inside the encapsulation are three-dimensional. There's some little ghost glitter in there. There is a waterfall. I love this one. It is so pretty and so peaceful and serene feeling. I hope you love it as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. Bye! We are going to begin this nail with a very, very thin layer of a dark green gel or dark green acrylic, just to make sure that it has a layer of color underneath. There's going to be many different things happening on top of this within an encapsulation, so make sure that this layer is thin. So if you have an opaque shade of green acrylic that you can use that. Otherwise, if you don't, use a green gel polish, and then after that's done, cleanse it of the inhibition layer so that it isn't tacky. After that, we're going to take a few different shades of gray, so a light gray, a dark gray, and some black, or even a darker gray, just a couple different shades, 3 or 4 is perfect. We're going to be sculpting little stones on the bottom of our pond. So we're going to just do, a few here and there, get them smaller and thinner as they get towards the middle of the nail, with a little thicker near the cuticle. Usually we don't want things too thick at the cuticle. This nail is definitely an exception. So you can add a couple over the whole nail if you'd like to, or you can stop them about midway. However it works out. So after you have a couple of these going up, you want to fill them all the way up, sort of alternating with the colors. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be the same size. In fact, make them varying in size. They don't have to be perfectly ordered or placed. They can spread out more or spread out less. However it works out, it's fine. You just want them to look like there's some stones in the bottom. After you have that done, I'm going to be using the same colors, but this time grabbing multiple colors per bead. I'm going to be sculpting the stones that are going to make up the sides or the walls of our pond, right along the cuticle. Like I said, usually you want the cuticle area and the proximal fold to just kind of blend and, go seamlessly back to the natural nail. This nail, not the case. We're going to build that up really thick and tall. So we're going to be doing a couple different layers of rocks. So here's the first one. We're going to be doing 4 stones going across. After you have those first ones done, then you're going to go through and you're going to do a layer with 3 stones. Like I said, multicolored beads. The best way to do this is you dip your brush into your, into your monomer, and then you're going to dip it into the lightest color you're planning to use for that rock, and then into the next color, and then to the next color. For most of these, I did use all 3, my light gray, my medium gray, and my black, using different proportions of them for each stone. So maybe one I'll do mostly in the lightest color and then tap it quick into the medium and the black, or maybe I'll just barely touch it into the light color, heavy on the medium, and tap it into the black, or maybe I do a lot of black. It depends on the stone. You don't want them to be the same. So we have our second layer that's got 3. The third layer is going to have 2 rocks. And after that third layer, you can just leave this be for a while. You've built up enough height that there's plenty of space for our waterfall, which is what we're doing. We're building up space so that when we get to the point where we're adding the waterfall, there's a lot of room for the water to come down. And then after you have that next little stone done, you can really get into the fun part of this design. So when you're working on a design and you're making a little pond, I obviously, as you saw from the initial video and from the intro and all, I am making a koi pond. So I'm going to be sculpting koi fish. However, you can make this be whatever kind of pond you want. So if you want to do little turtles in there, I always love it when I go to a pond in a park or anywhere really, and I see turtles. I have such a soft spot for turtles, so they always make me so happy. So you could certainly do some turtles in the pond, or ducks, other kinds of fish. You could do frogs. There's, like I said, many different options. If you want to do koi, obviously, those are a very bright, colorful option that really do look good against that dark green base. So something like a turtle that are typically that dark green color like we used for the bottom of our little pond may not show up quite as well, but it would still, they're so fun to find. And if you do go to a pond somewhere, you probably don't see them right away anyway. They're kind of camouflaged, and so when you do find them, it's always a happy surprise, and it could have that same sort of a feeling or a desire for this nail as well, where maybe somebody didn't see it immediately, but then they do see it and it's just like a happy little, oh, hey, look, there's a turtle. After we have the first layer of our fish done, I'm going to do a second layer. We are trying to keep them relatively flat so they fit within the encapsulation. With that being said, you do have space, especially if you place them somewhat towards the middle of the nail, to have a little bit of height on them, enough that you can tell through the encapsulation that they do have height. So don't worry too much about making them too terribly thin as far as just their general shape. Once you have them sculpted with white, you can grab a couple different colors of colorful acrylic and you can add some different elements of patterning on them. Typically you see koi in different kinds of orangish, almost all the way to a red, to gold, and to black. I wouldn't do too much black on them. Obviously a little bit is fine, but I would kind of minimize the black just so that they show up as really bright fish against that dark background. If they're a mostly black koi, they won't show up, kind of like the turtles. So I mean, it's up to you, however you want to work that out. I'm going to add a shadow of black acrylic underneath each fish and then along the tip of the nail just to darken it up. Really thin black acrylic is the perfect thing for that to use. And then after you have that done, you can just go through and add just a touch, like I said, a touch of black to your fish. And then the last thing I'm going to do on my fish is I'm going to go back to white acrylic and I'm going to be adding their dorsal fin, going right down their back. Don't make it too tall, like I've said before. Try to keep these flat, obviously 3D, but still flat, so that when you encapsulate them, they don't stick up out of the water where you might accidentally file them and remove some of your detail. So right now they do look like they're floating. That little bit of black underneath them to the bottom really does give them extra depth. Now I'm going to be using some clear acrylic and I'm going to be attaching little circular ghost glitter. What ghost glitter is an iridescent glitter or sequins that doesn't have a color base to it. So it just has that kind of clear but iridescent look. I love ghost glitter. I think they are something that, especially in a design like this, they give the water some movement, they make it look kind of bubbly, but they don't take away from the color that's underneath, and they don't really distract from the focus of the nail, which for this would be the waterfall and the fish. So if you have these little circle ghost glitters, I highly recommend using them. If you don't have them, don't worry about it too much because they are just a little side element to the design. And so we're just going to apply them where there's a space for them, really, just sticking them in here and there. After you have enough of them in, there is going to be a lot of texture to this nail as far as you're going to be encapsulating up over the fish, up over those ghost glitters. So when you go to encapsulate, use acrylic that's a little bit thinner in texture than you normally would, a little more wet. So when you dip your brush into your monomer and then you grab your bead, just make sure that you have a little more monomer in your brush than you typically would. We're going to be pressing that acrylic around all of those 3D elements. If you do not press it around, you may end up with little air bubbles, which aren't going to look very pretty. They're going to look like little white pockets inside the nail, and you don't want that to be the case. You want it to look completely clear and smooth. Also, using your clear acrylic a little bit more on the wet side will boost the clarity because it'll make sure that all of those little bits of your monomer and your polymer mix together, polymerize, and there's no powdery residue anywhere within the nail, which is going to help, like I said, with the clarity. After you have your nail sculpted, you may find that it isn't perfectly smooth. Obviously, we typically file our nails into shape, so we're going to do this now. I am using a hand file instead of using an e-file just because I want to make sure I don't accidentally overfile it and file into my fish. So I'm going to very cautiously file this nail into shape. The file I was using was a 240 grit, which is a very, very fine grit file. It doesn't file things quickly. On a nail form backing, I'm going to be sculpting a little rock that's going to be the one that the waterfall is coming out of. So it's just going to be a little half circle shape somewhat. I'm going to attach that to the top of my stone wall. And then after that's attached, I attached it with the shiny side up so that the rough sculpted side was down. That way when you add a second layer, it doesn't have that shiny, the shiny nail form backing surface isn't visible either on the top or underneath. We're going to add another layer of acrylic to the top of it. Kind of press the middle so that it looks like it is carved away from the water so that when the water gets placed in there, or our clear acrylic, you can call it whatever you want, it does have a route that it's taking. I'm going to smooth it out a little bit underneath, just kind of make sure it's really, really well attached. It's not going to fall off. And then I'm going to add a drop of clear acrylic underneath where the waterfall will open or will pour in, and then use my dotting tool just to kind of swirl it around, make it look like there's some ripples in the water. I'm going to take some bright green acrylic. I'm going to be sculpting a few little lily pads right along the tip of the nail, kind of in the opposite corner from where the waterfall is, just right along the tip. If you're doing this and you want to add your little lilies on both sides at the tip of the nail, you certainly can. I just wanted a couple, not too many. I didn't want to overdo it, but I always associate koi with some lily pads. So I'm going to place those in. Once those have sculpted or have been sculpted and done, then you can go back and you can add just a little bit of that green as a moss on your stone wall. So anywhere you want, just add a little bit of green. Don't overdo it. You don't want your rocks to look totally green. You just want to add a little bit of that moss or algae. Once that's done, you can go back to clear acrylic and we're going to be adding our waterfall. So I'm using clear acrylic for this. If you find it hard to get your acrylic to drop down in the way that mine is, because it's not necessarily the easiest process to do, And if it's just not working, you may find that sculpting your little water drops on the nail form backing and then attaching them so that you can get them, straight up and down a little easier could help you. Otherwise, if it's working for you to do it this way, obviously go ahead and do this. It kind of saves a step. You don't have to attach and glue and sculpt something separately. But if you either have a bigger space where your water is going from, or it just doesn't seem to work, that is always another option. You could do it the same way that I did that top rock. Now I'm going to take some very pale green and I'm going to be adding a little highlight on my lily pads with some white. I'm going to add a little bit of shine lines onto my waterfall, apply some gel sealer over everything that is wet, so over everything that's the water. You're going to make that so nice and shiny. And then once that all has been gel top coated, the only thing you really have to finish and the last thing you have to do is apply a touch of matte top coat over the lily pads. And that is it. I hope you guys like this design as much as I do. It has such a calming just essence to it with the waterfall and the koi swing around and the lily pads. It reminds me of a spring day sitting next to a pond somewhere in a peaceful little nook in the world. I hope you love it as much as I do, and I will see you all next time. Bye!